If you've ever been on a dismounted reconnaissance patrol and you had a javelin clue strapped to your rucksack and you fell down the side of a mountain and in your despair you laid on your back looking up at the stars wishing for death, then go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, guys. Welcome back to the Trench Grenade channel. I am your host, the average realities of reconnaissance video enjoyer that your mom says that we have at home. Thanks for watching. Guys, the purpose of today's video is we are going to be discussing the realities of reconnaissance and why recon sucks, but I'm going to try to keep you alive in your Minecraft server. Now, we have a special guest. It's not really a special guest. She is here against her will.
Blink twice if you're a passive or a captive audience.
Correct. Nighthawk is here. We're heading to the gym, and she's going to help me stay on track with some notes because I am an infantryman and do not remember the principles of reconnaissance off the top of my head. So I have my trusty fiance to help me stay on track. First and foremost, reconnaissance, okay? Also, like the video, comment down below your experiences with recon. If you've never conducted recon in real life or in a training environment, well, that's probably good for you, but if you have, leave your stories down below. It does, in fact, suck. I'll give you my brief pedigree. 3 years in the 173rd Airborne Brigade, and in those 3 years, I was in Comanche Troop, 1st Squadron, 91st Cavalry Regiment, which, yes, is the infantry troop that is attached to a cavalry squadron, and we did all the dirty work for the Cav Scouts. And by dirty work, I mean we jumped in about 12 to 24 hours earlier than the Scouts did, and we walked a lot with heavy rucks on our back, and yes, it sucked. So, with all my 3 years of extensive pedigree out of the way, that's a joke, by the way, let's just get right into it. So, first and foremost, I need to describe to you guys what a red, white, and blue plan is. A red, white, and blue plan is pre-workout. Yep. A red, white, and blue plan is simply disengagement criteria. Now, simply put, if you're in a hide site or an observation post, okay, or a surf site, a surveillance site, we're going to talk about those here in a second, but if you're in one of those positions and you see the enemy, we'll just go through it, okay? So red would be maybe a enemy vehicle stops, right? White, and that red would mean wake everybody up, okay? So that it would be the red part of the red, white, and blue plan. Maybe an enemy vehicle was driving by and they stopped. So at red, you wake everybody up. At white, you begin to pack everything, okay? So let's say the enemy gets out of the vehicle and they start walking towards you, or they're orienting their weapons or pointing, you know, because as you guys know, our military included, people are not very sneaky, especially in high stress situations. So maybe they're indicating or giving some sort of indication that they may be massing on your position. That would be white. So in the white part of the disengagement criteria, you would pack everything up, tear down antennas, everything would be packed, ready to roll. And at blue is when you would blow your claymores, blow your AT4s, your javelins, whatever you have. If you have a saw, you would do a mad minute with a squad automatic weapon, and then you would break contact, right, and call troops in contact on the radio. And you would break your comms plan, and that would be a red, white, and blue plan. So, vehicle rolls up, red, okay? Red, wake everybody up. White, they get out of the vehicles, they start orienting towards your location. Okay, pack everything up. Blue, that is the sign to claymore, claymore, claymore. And AT4, backblast area clear, smoke them with 100 round or 1 minute from the saw, and break contact, troops in contact. You are compromised at that point. Next thing I want to talk about is communications windows. When you're conducting reconnaissance, you don't have the luxury to just be able to have communications with your radio at all times. So that means you're going to have to do top of the hour, bottom of the hour, or just top of the hour, etc. You're not going to have enough battery power to just be able to maintain communications on the radio forever, okay? So in this particular example, we'll say that 5 minutes prior to the top of the hour, okay, is our comms window. So 5 minutes, so every time at 8:55 till 9, that would be our comms window. That is when we're going to check in and call up any reports, okay? So write that down, communications window. So far we've covered red, white, and blue disengagement criteria and communications window, top of the hour reporting up. Next thing I want to talk about is natural lines of drift. Natural lines of drift, let me take a hit of this. We got patches now, boys. Natural lines of drift is simply where people can easily travel. So what do I mean by that? I mean, if you are a a goat, you're going to walk on goat trails. If it's easily passable, then that is a natural line of drift. As a reconnaissance trooper, you need to stay away from natural lines of drift, because if you are on a natural line of drift for a human or an animal, you are going to get discovered very quickly. So the next point I want to cover is natural lines of drift. Now, overhead cover. Overhead cover. Drones will kill you. And so will ISR assets. Enemy ISR. So having overhead cover is a pain in the ass, because as you're conducting your route planning, you have to always have overhead cover. Right now I'm sitting in an open parking lot. We're dead. If this was a Humvee, right, and the Bronco, the ballistic Bronco or the brainwashed Bronco, I have no overhead cover. I'm going to get compromised immediately. Okay. So overhead cover is a must. Water. Water is our water, which is their water, which means if you're walking near a major body of water or any water, that means the enemy also needs that water source to survive. So you need to stay away. If the enemy, let's say, is to the north and the water source is to the south, where do you think they're going to naturally pass through? A natural line of drift, or towards that water source, because they need water to survive, right? Water resupply. So if you are between the enemy and water, you need to not do that, obviously. IV lines. Now, I'm hitting you guys with a lot of information right now. This is just my knowledge over a decade. You know, I say it almost every video at this point, because I have new subscribers coming in every day. But 13 years as an infantry senior NCO, it's just all brainwashed into my body. So, IV lines. What is an IV line? If you're on top of a hill and you silhouette yourself on top of a hill, and it could be not just your whole body, it could be your helmet, it could be an antenna, it could be a weapon system that you're carrying, right? A tripod, or a javelin tube, a javelin round, or a javelin clue, or something like that. If that is sticking out from your rucksack and you silhouette yourself on top of a hill or on top of a mountain, the pre-workout's kicking in, then you will most definitely be compromised, okay? So far, let's just do a summary. And if you got this far, leave a llama in the comments down below, because combat llamas do, in fact, lead the way. So we've talked about reconnaissance, that it sucks. You're going to carry way too much weight, and you're going to hate your life. You're not going to have food or water when you want it. You're going to be literally starving when you're conducting reconnaissance. We've talked about red, white, and blue plan, which is in disengagement criteria of when you get compromised. We've talked about one thing to note on that, as a reconnaissance trooper, you're not out there to get in a fight. You're out there to observe. So if you're out there thinking you're going to be a Navy SEAL, which SEALs suck at reconnaissance, it's a whole story for another day. The experts at reconnaissance are Marine Force Recon and Army Scouts. We are the experts, right? But anyway, I'll digress on that. Red, white, and blue plan, you're not out there to get in a fight. Overhead cover, natural lines of drift. Don't get between yourself and where the enemy can naturally drift to. IV lines. IV lines will get you compromised if you expose yourself, silhouette yourself over the top of a hill. Water. Our water is their water, is everyone's water, which means as a reconnaissance trooper in the field, you're going to be purifying water. So don't put yourself in a position where you're going to get compromised by being physically between the water if you can avoid it. And understand that pre-workout, if you understand that if you are near water, it's just a very dangerous place to be. Obviously, you may need water resupply. So when you go near water, you need to expedite your rate of travel, and you need to get your water and get out of there. By the way, this video is sponsored by Oxygen. I know, guys. But last sponsor, definitely not a sponsor, but guys, thank you to Oxygen for keeping this channel alive. Anyway, next, what do I got next?
Stop, look, listen, smell.
Stop, look, listen, smell. As you're conducting reconnaissance, you're going to conduct halt, fingers and thumb, extended and joined, palm facing forward, and seals. Stop, look, listen, smell. It's exactly, we've talked about it 1,000 times on this channel. Talk about it one more time. You're going to stop. You're going to look for signs of the enemy. You're going to listen for signs of the enemy, whether it be drones, vehicles. You're going to smell. The enemy smells different than you. I have a whole video on stop, look, listen, smell. You're going to do it a lot, and you're going to do seals complete. Next. Do not keep recon assets in reserve. What does that mean? That means if you have a drone, you need to put the drone up. That means if you have ISR assets, you need to put ISR. That means if you have a 6-man team, okay, 6-man reconnaissance team, you're going to have 2 sleeping, 2 monitoring the radio, and 2 on surf site or OP site actually observing the enemy. Okay, so you never keep assets in reserve. Make sure as a section leader, you're constantly rotating your reconnaissance assets. It sucks. Let me just go off on a tangent. It sucks. Reconnaissance sucks. It's not like the movies. You hate your life. You're carrying too much weight. You don't have enough water. You don't have enough food. You're constantly having to carry the radio and the ASIP batteries and everything. You're monitoring the radio. You're on glass all the time, whether it be binos or LPVO or whatever you're issued. Okay. ACOG, you're on glass all the time. It just sucks. Okay. So if you think you're going to go out here and do recon and it's going to be a good time, you're wrong. Two types of reconnaissance, okay? Area recon and zone recon. Area recon and zone recon. You also have route recon. If you're doing a route recon, you're probably going to have to get near ambushed and die, so good luck on that route recon, okay? All right, next.
Reporting information.
Reporting. Top of the hour or bottom of the hour. You need to report accurately. You need to do what's called a salute report or assault report. I'll now give you an example of a salute report. Size. You need to be writing this down, mother jumpers. Size, activity, location, uniform, time, and equipment. Okay, I'll say that again. Size of the enemy unit. Activity of the enemy unit. Location, 8-digit grid or 10-digit grid of the enemy unit. Uniform. Are they airborne? Are they mechanized infantry? Are they MPs? Are they rear echelon soldiers? Time. Exactly what time? Shout out to my badass Seiko watch, or doggone, not Seiko. This is my Sangan Instruments. Okay. Oh, there you go, dude. All right. Time. All right. In local or Zulu time, you need to specify. And equipment. If they have shovels, if they have picks, if they have mines, if they have anti-tank devices. Okay. Salute report. How to report the enemy. All right. Keep going.
Retaining freedom of maneuver.
Retain freedom of maneuver. If you get too close to an enemy, you're going to get compromised. 1 second. Which one we got this time? Hey. Whoa. All right. So what do you think that means to you? Maintain freedom of maneuver.
Putting yourself in a position where you can always maneuver where you need to.
Correct. So if you get too close to the enemy, immortals lead the way. If you get too close to the enemy, that means you're going to get compromised. But also it means you don't have freedom of maneuver to be able to conduct what's called a clover leaf. Think of if my mic is the objective, you're going to go out and around, 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 out and around. That's a clover leaf. Always walking directly towards and directly away from the enemy. That way you don't get compromised. Okay? So walk directly towards the person you're trying to observe and directly away. If you walk side to side, the human eye detects lateral movement easier than it does movement in depth. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay? So make sure it's the same as hunting. Let me just tell you something. As a scout member or reconnaissance section member, you are hunting humans in Minecraft. So that should wake you up. You're not just going to go out there like the movies and be like all sneaky and they don't see you. They are looking to kill you. You're looking to kill them. Or in this case, call artillery or call for further infantry assets, okay, to come kill them as a reconnaissance or scout trooper, right? So if you're out there scouting and just keep in mind, everything you do, whether it be glint off your optic, whether it be not wearing face paint properly, whether it be touching a tree and the tree way up in the air is shaking, the enemy can see that. They're not stupid, right? The enemy will kill you just like you want to kill them. So just understand that the realities of recon are, as a scout trooper, you ultimately are just trying to cut the enemy's throat in Minecraft, and that's what they're trying to do to you. But humans are smart, so you need to never underestimate your enemy. All right.
Excuse me. Let's see. Develop the situation rapidly.
Develop the situation rapidly. If I'm calling on the radio a salute report, but it takes forever. You guys have heard like cop shootings before, right? Because there's a ton of footage, and the cop can't articulate what's happening, and they can't get back up to him. Think about that, but tenfold, right? You and your 5 buddies, okay, 6-man scout team or reconnaissance team or section are doing recon on a village, and they are preparing to move out. They're mounting up in their technicals. They're mounting up in their gazes, right? That's a Russian truck. They're mounting up in their gazes, and they're about to move out. Okay, you take forever to call up that report. Guess what's going to happen to your buddies? They're going to get rolled up on because you took forever, okay? Get the information out there quick.
Today, Junior.
That's the best thing you've ever said on camera, for sure. All right, next.
Let's see. Orienting on the reconnaissance objective.
Okay, so same as cloverleaf. You have to pinpoint. I want to go to the 173rd. It's a whole deal. Got my dream. Yay! And I got to do recon, and it sucked. Yeah, so that's kind of where the story came from. But what was I talking about?
Orienting on the
Oh,
objective.
pinpoint the objective. You have to pinpoint, you have to orient on the objective and pinpoint the objective. If you don't know what you're conducting recon on, your soldiers don't know. So you have to pinpoint, okay, boom, at X azimuth, 20-degree azimuth, at 400 meters, 20 degrees is the enemy OP or the enemy position we're trying to observe. You have to orient on the objective or pinpoint the objective. Next.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. So, all this being said, what to tell you guys? Well, to be honest, guys, recon is just always developing. With drone assets now, you're gonna die. Okay, it sucks. If you think you're gonna go out here and buy your ghillie suit, one, don't buy a ghillie suit because we don't wear ghillie suits. Only our snipers wear ghillie suits. Two, if you think you're gonna go out here and just buy a Recce rifle and do some sort of like Grand Thumb style, like survival in the mountain series, which is his best series, which is funny. If you think you're just gonna go out here and just be the cool guy, you're not. You're gonna hate your fucking life. And when you're hating your life, I just want you to remember this video, all the little things that go into it, right? You're only as tall as the tallest object you touch, the red, white, and blue plan, all the things we just talked about. You should have them in a notebook. You're not going to have them memorized, right? If you're a cavalry soldier, you should have them memorized. But if you're an infantry guy, you just need to understand the principles of reconnaissance, the realities of reconnaissance. That way you can apply them if you have to do a leader's recon, which you will. At some point you have to do a leader's recon. You just need to understand the rough rules of recon. Okay.
You've talked a lot.
I've talked a lot.
They've talked none.
They've talked none. Combat Corn Dogs led the way, and they graduated about 2 years ago now. But here's a cool badass patch, right? All right. What else? That's it. Time to lift.
That's all she wrote.
All right, guys. If you got this far, join the Patreon. It's $5 a month. Gets you access to a Discord server. Huge thank you to the sponsor of the channel, Oxygen. Without it, we wouldn't be able to breathe.
Yeah, we wouldn't be able to breathe, and we wouldn't be able to go push heavy things like we're about to.
I'm sponsored by Big Oxygen.
Big O2.
Big O2. All right, guys. Thanks for being here. It's over. It ends today.